morning, everyone. I purchased myself an Echo chainsaw yesterday. I had to replace my Stihl MS-291, which the bearings went out in it, and the dealer told me that it's probably best just to go on and get a new one because it would cost more to replace the bearings. And considering the cost of a new chainsaw, a Stihl in particular, the MS-291, after taxes and all, it's over $700 for one. So I decided to go a different route. I went to read about the Echo chainsaws, in particular the CS590. CS590 is like 5.8 cc's and runs about maybe 4.5 horsepower. It's a medium size saw, not too heavy, not too light, but strong enough to get the job done. It's comparable to the MS-291, probably a little bit stronger. After unboxing this chainsaw, these are the parts that come with it that are in the box. It's got the wrench and the screwdriver for adjusting the tension on the chain, and also the blade, keeping the blade tight. Has the blade cover, the 20-inch blade, and the chain for the saw itself. The saw has very simple features. Has the on-off switch, and it has the choke. The choke would, you know what the choke is for. You pull the choke out and pull the starter handle until it fires one time, then take the choke off and start it again. After you start it, let it idle for a little while. Has the chain brake here to protect your hands. Has the decompression button for when you start it. Always want to press that decompression button. Has the gas tank and the oil tank here to keep it lubricated, keep that chain lubricated. If you don't keep the chain lubricated, you're putting too much tension on the blade. Has the guards here, and this is a chain guard. When you throw the chain, if the chain comes off, this will catch it and keep it from coming into your hands or your body. Has the fence here. It has the fence to hang onto the log to give you a little more torque into cutting the log. Like most chainsaws nowadays, it's plastic, so you want to be careful with the chainsaws. They are, whether it's a tough plastic or not, they're still fragile, and you can destroy your chainsaw if you're not careful with it. You always want to make sure that when you're felling a tree that it's out of the way, and that because if it falls on a tree, it's going to if the tree falls on it, it's going to destroy your chainsaw, and then you'll have to go buy another one. But I wanted to tell you about this Echo and where I got it. I got it from Home Depot. The price on it was $4.49. And for all you veterans out there, if you don't have a Home Depot veterans account, you're losing out on 10% on tools and things like that. And it's not good for appliances or furniture or something, but it is good for tools and things like that. So considering that this was $449, I saved almost $50 on this chainsaw. The only bad part was I had a 7% tax. So when I bought the chainsaw, instead of paying $449 plus tax, I paid a total of $420, tax included, with that veterans discount. So if you don't have an account with Home Depot or don't have your veterans registration with them, you're losing out on 10%. So I'd highly recommend that you go get that and use it when you have to. So let's put this together. Putting it together is fairly straightforward. There's not really a whole lot to it. The only thing that you really have to do is put the blade and the chain on. to put the blade on, you want to loosen up the nuts on the chain guard here first and take this chain guard off. And then you'll take your bar. You'll take the bar and put on here. Doesn't matter if it goes up or down. I would tell you that most sawyers, when they're using their chainsaws, when it's brand new, you're going to have it up like that. But then after you change the blade out, most of them turn it upside down like that. And the reason they do that is so that it'll even the wear out on the bar. The longer you can protect the bar, the better. So after the bar is on there, we want to install the chain. Want to use caution with this chain. It's kind of like trying to pet a dog. Sometimes you don't know when that thing's going to bite you. So be careful when you pet a dog. Be careful when you put this chain on. You'll untangle it. And this chain is set up for a cross cut, not a rip cut. They're different chains, and it has to do with the way that the teeth are done. And this one is ground for a cross cut. So what we'll do is we'll put it on the sprocket first. Once it's on the sprocket, we'll get our bar, and we'll put our bar in and slide the bar back as far as it'll go and down. And the chain will fit in the grooves. Then you have, once that's on, you'll put the guard back on. Keep in mind that when you're putting this together in this chainsaw, there's an adjuster on here to adjust the chainsaw. You want to set that little peg, that little index peg, on the chain, and it'll only go in one spot, and I'll show that to you. Now, on this chainsaw bar, there's an indexing hole on each side, and that's how you want to make sure that the peg goes into that indexing hole, and it'll fit in there, and you want it to fit in tight. Now it's in there, and you can feel the difference in it when it's there. Then you want to loosely put on your bar nuts to hang it, to keep it snug at the moment until you get it positioned. Okay, when the chain is on there, you're going to take the screwdriver, you're going to tighten the chain up just a little bit. You don't want to get it too tight because the chain is not installed yet. It's still got to get in the grooves, but bring it up to where there is enough tension where you can roll it and get it into the grooves. Once they're in the grooves, keep tightening it up. once the chain is on, you can start adjusting the blade itself. Now, you want to hold the blade up. If you'll look closely, you'll see that there's a little play in there. This bar should be in the up position. As far as play on the bar is concerned, your chainsaw, you should really have about 1/4 of an inch of play. Not really any more than that, but 1/4 of an inch. Okay, that 1/4 of an inch will give you enough slack in the chain to freely flow around the bar, but not too loose so that it'll fly off. You're going to have to check it periodically because the chains do stretch, and you want to be careful with that. Then after the bar is on there and snug, you can tighten it up. You don't want to tighten it too tight so that it won't come off, or it'll be very difficult to come off if you get it too tight. And that's pretty much all there is to the assembly of the Echo chainsaw. I did install the bar upside down, and next time I change the chain, I'll put it right side up. So hang on, we'll go up and cut some wood. Okay, we're prepping to get some of this wood cut to firewood size, and we got our new chainsaw, our Echo CS590 with a 20-inch bar, and it's time to go ahead and fuel it up and put oil in this chainsaw and get ready to cut the firewood. But I wanted to talk to you just a minute about safety. Some of the things when you are using a chainsaw, if you're going to cut wood, is wear long sleeves, wear long pants, and if you have a protection for your toes, a steel toe or something like that. But as far as pants go, I've seen people time and time again hurt themselves when they're wearing shorts and tennis shoes. And if you're cutting wood and you're wearing shorts or tennis shoes, you're just asking for trouble. I wear a thick Carhartt pant. This is a canvas pant, and it provides some protection from a kickback on a saw. And if you've never had a kickback on a saw, you've been fortunate, but they will hurt you. So it's just some simple protections is something to consider when you're cutting firewood. Long pants, good shoes, long sleeves, no loose clothing to get caught up in anything, gloves, and hearing protection. These saws are loud and they'll ruin your hearing. So wear those basic safety protections when you do cut firewood. So let's go ahead and fuel this up, and we'll talk about starting it. First thing I'm going to do is put the oil in. And when you put oil in, they recommend a bar oil, but really and truly a good 30 weight or 40 weight oil is all you need. And you don't have to use the most expensive because you're just trying to lubricate the chain. So fill your oil reservoir up and don't overfill it. That's a particularly useful thing. If you overfill it, you're putting a little bit more pressure on that automatic oiler. Once you have the oil in, put your cap back on and tighten it up. You can hand tighten it, it's about all you need, and have a rubber gasket on there to seal it. Then the gas that goes in this is a 50-to-1 ratio of oil and 2-cycle oil and gasoline. And you'll put that in. And again, you don't want to overfill it. Too much pressure in there can hurt your chainsaw. Could probably even make you wet with gasoline, run the risk of catching fire. So anyway, and tighten that up by hand. Has that rubber gasket to seal it on there. We're going to put our gloves on and our hearing protection. I don't think I mentioned safety glasses. Be sure to wear some safety glasses, something that's going to cover the side of your eyes, keep chips from getting in behind there. I don't have any, so I'm sorry. I'll just be real careful. But we'll put our hearing protection in first to protect our ears. These sounds are loud and they'll hurt you. We'll put our gloves on and make sure they're cinched up. Turn our saw over and take the safety guard, the blade guard off, set it out of the way. And I've seen people try to start a chainsaw on a log or something like that. That's not safe. If you're good to where you can start one, that's a good thing, I guess. But me, I'm not that good, so let's try it the old-fashioned way. And the first thing, according to the instructions, is turn your saw on and pull the choke out. Be sure the safety brake is on. If your big old foot will fit into the handle, that's the best place to put it, and you want to start it on the ground. Be sure your brake is on, your choke is out, your thing is locked, your decompression valve is on, and then you could start it. And when you start this, and the first fire is over, one time, it will probably quit, but go ahead and push your choke off and then start it again. And as soon as it starts back up, pull your safety brake off. But you want the safety brake on to keep anything from happening if it kicks up like that. You don't want it to hurt you. So let's see what happens. Saw to warm up. You don't want to go to cutting right away. It's time now to start carting. We're going to buck this up. We're going to saw it into lengths for firewood. And I've had this piece of wood for several years now, and it's ought to be perfect for firewood. I got several around here. And I should have about a quart of firewood out of all this, so here we go. Be sure our brake is off. Depending on what kind of firewood you want, 18 to 20 inches is what my fireplace would use. So let's go ahead and cut it. see I have a lot of good firewood in that. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut you off for now, and I'll come back later when I get this cut up, and then we'll talk about splitting it. Okay, this is what I have cut up at the moment. I ought to be able to get at least a face cord out of this. I still have some more sticks to cut up. I've got 7 more sticks to cut up, and then I'll be ready to split. Thank you for watching. Have a blessed day and be safe. This is a volunteer okra plant that has come up. It's about 8 or 9 feet tall now. And it was a volunteer plant. It just came up on its own. But you can see the base is just really thick and nice. But I'm gonna pick some okra for supper. This will make a nice, tasty meal of fried okra. And it has provided okra all summer long. And now it's almost October. The only bad part about picking okra is that after you first pick it, it's kind of like poison ivy. It'll kind of itch your hands. So I forgot to wear my gloves to pick it with, but I'll eat it anyway. Get it ready and take it home.